D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, when I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can either, read it for yourself, or you can just watch this video and I will read it to you. So before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now that I've got all that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started on these 3 stories. So for my first story this week, we get a first look at Brother Blood in season 4. We're also going to look at Jinx. They did put out a concept art. Well, they put out a picture of Mother, but that one was not as good in my opinion. So we're just going to look at the 2. We're just going to look at Brother Blood, and then we're going to look at Jinx. All right, so here is the article. This comes from comicbook.com. Not my favorite, and I'm hoping that this website doesn't all freak out on me, but it says... This isn't the first time fans have seen Joseph Morgan in the role of Brother Blood, the villain from the upcoming 4th season of HBO Max's Titans, but today the official social media accounts for the show dropped a first look at the Brother Blood costume, complete with concept art that depicts Morgan in the suit. With a closer look at concept art and props that make up the bone parts of Brother Blood costume, the Brother Blood costume. If I could speak. Which looks more like its comic book counterpart than the Scarecrow-inspired version played by Lucifer star Kevin Alejandro in the 2nd season of Arrow. Brother Blood will be the big villain of this season, but that doesn't mean he's the only one, and the only one that will attract attention. After all, Bosch star Titus Welvier, I don't know how to say his name, has been hired to play Lex Luthor, which I did a video on that. Check that out in the iCard section, paying off the story from the comics in which the 90s Superboy turned out to have some of Lex's DNA in his clone tube. So let's read this real quick. That's this is huge. I didn't realize it was so huge on this page. When I read it before, it was on my phone. So don't worry, I'll pull up the concept art so where it's not so big. Wow, that's so big. Okay, anyways, that's what she said. Okay. So I have started shooting. We're currently shooting episodes 1 and 2 simultaneously. What's been hugely enjoyable for me. In fact, this is the reason I wanted to do this part in the first place, is that, as you know, I'm playing a character called Brother Blood, Morgan previously said. But that's not where he starts off. He starts his journey as Sebastian, and it's really an origin story of a villain that we're playing out here. What's been incredibly rewarding for me, and will continue to be, I think, is exploring how he gets to from being Sebastian to becoming Brother Blood. And it says, check out this post below. Now, this is the post right here. And this picture is rather huge. I'm just going to leave this right here, but I will pull up the post right here. So here is the costume right here. Now, I have to be honest with you. This looks great. This looks great. I think that this looks, it just looks really great. I love this orange they've chosen for the cape. I do love the bone right here. And then this mask that they've chosen. It's very Phantom of the Opera-esque, very cool. I love this neck piece that they've chosen. This is very good. This is very good in my opinion. I really do like this. It's very, very good. All right, let's pull up the concept art. So this is the concept art for it. And I think that from concept to realization, I think that they've done let's pull that back up. They've done a really good job of that. I think that this practical right here really translated well. I mean, the belt piece is a little bit different, but you can see the bone right here. It all transferred very well, in my opinion. I think that this looks great. This looks great. Let's put that back down there and we'll pull this one back up while we discuss. So in the comic books, this is how Brother Blood looks. This right here, this is the best picture. It's a little blurry. Let's pull up a different one just really quickly. Here's a different one. Shoot. Here we go. Here's a different one. I think that this plays more into what we were just seeing. That's not blurry. You get the bone part right here, which I think they played out in the rest of the outfit. And then you get this like not like a vest. I'll say a vest right here, which I think looks great. Like if you pull this back up, you get like that vest kind of feel with the bone. And then he doesn't have the big antlers, but he does have, the bone kind of makes up for that front part. So I think that this looks great. This looks great. Let's read the rest of this article and then we'll look at Jinx real quick. All right. So it says, also joining Joseph Morgan in season 3 of Titans are Claus and Lola Run actor Franca Petitenti, I don't know how to say her last name, it doesn't matter, as the role of Mother Mayhem. And I didn't pull up a picture of that because it wasn't the best picture, but she looks okay. And then the A-list Lisa Balavenar in the recurring role of as Jinx, which I will show again. And I made a video about this when they cast these people. I'll leave it up in the iCard section. But I think that Jinx is going to stick around because I think they're trying to build that team of 5. Oh God, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but we'll look at it. We'll talk about it more when we get to there. Morgan and Patetti, is that how you say the name? Are set as series regulars. So I think Jinx is just going to make an appearance, just like her counterparts did in that team. Did you had the little and everything? It doesn't matter. Anyways, Titans follows young heroes from across the DC universe as they come of age and find where they belong. In the season 3, circumstances draw our heroes to Gotham City, where they will reunite with old friends and face new threats. There's no word yet on the release date of season 4 for Titans, but you can watch the first 3 now on HBO Max. It says, are you excited for it? All right, let me just really quick, we're just gonna keep it right here real quick, but let me pull up the this is the picture. This is what they were talking about before with the Scarecrow look for Arrow. And I do have to admit, this does look more like Scarecrow than it does Brother Blood. I mean, like when you look at this compared to the comic book, I mean, how could you take this and then manifest this and not think of Scarecrow? You know what I'm saying? All right, now let me just look. So this is Jinx. This is what she's looking like in the show. I think she looks great. She's got the pink hair. I'll pull up concept art and then I'll pull up the art from the comic book. But here she is. This is what she's going to look like on the show. I think she looks great. I think this is a really good. This is very, I have to say this kind of looks like what Sunfire looks like. And that's not a bad costume. It's not my favorite, though. But anyways, this looks great. I love the green jewels you got here. I love the shoulder pads with the next piece. And then I love this jewel at the top. Let me pull up the concept art. So this is the concept art. Now, this looks more comic books accurate in terms of you got the bald head. I like that she's using her powers here, but this looks great. And I think also from concept to reality, I think that they did a good job. I think that this looks great. Okay, let me just pull up. So this is what she looks like in concept art. So this is what she looks like in the comic book. And I think that this concept art looks way more, but because of the bald head. But if you take out the bald head, I think that she looks great here. You got the white. She doesn't have the gold arm pads, gold shoulder pads and everything. But you got the white here, and I think that she looks great. I mean, her midriff is showing here, but that's fine. But she's bald here, and she's not bald on the show. I think that what they're going for with the hair is more like this. This is from, I believe, Teen Titans. And this is Jinx from there. And I think that this is fun. But I think that they didn't go with the bald like they did in the concept art. Like here in the concept art, she's bald. But for the show, they went with the pink hair, which I think it was a good mixture of what younger fans know and what older fans like me know as far as this character goes. So that is my first story of the week. For my second story of the week, you guys, they have cast some members of the Dune, the Sisterhood show for HBO Max. Now, I have to be honest with you. I thought that this show was going to get canceled. I didn't think that they were going to go through with this show. But they are, and they're going with Dune Part 2. I liked that movie. I did a review for it. You can check it up in the iCard section. You know, now that I've watched it a handful of times, it's not bad. It's still just okay. Sorry, my throat is a little sore. But so they've cast two people. They've cast Emily Watson and Shirley Henderson. So I'm quite excited about that. But this article comes from Deadline. So why don't we go ahead and read that? And these are these two ladies. I believe she is from mostly from what I know her for. Emily Watson is from Equilibrium, and then Shirley Henderson. She plays Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter movies. So Emily Watson, Chernobyl. Oh yeah, she was in Chernobyl. Loved Chernobyl and God's Creatures. And Shirley Henderson, Harry Potter, Stan and Ollie, will lead the cast of HBO Max's Dune, the Sisterhood from Legendary Television. The series, which is based on Frank Herbert's classic novel, is set 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides. Okay. And follows the Harkonnen sisters, played by Watson and Henderson, as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. This sounds all interesting already, because I like the Bene Gesserit, even though they're all women. Anyways, Watson and Henderson will portray Valia Harkonnen and Tula Harkonnen, respectively, the formidable Harkonnen sisters who have risen to power with the Sisterhood, a secret organization of women who will go on to become the Bene Gesserit. Diane Edimu John serves as creator, writer, co-showrunner, and executive producer. Allison Shupker serves as okay, let's hold on. Let me get Joanne Reckna will direct the premiere episode and executive produce. Denis Villeneuve, who directed, co-wrote, and produced the 2021 Dune film, is executive producing, and John. Oh gosh, there's so many producers. Hold on. This series is co-produced by HBO Max and Legendary Television, the TV arm of Legendary, which is behind the current film franchise. This first installment was released in October 2021 and earned Oscar nominations for Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay. Upcoming for Watson are features Quicksand, a psychological thriller also starring David Tennant, and period drama Late in Summer. Watson is repped by Who Cares Henderson. Will next be seen in the Tom Jones miniseries, the PBS masterpiece Mammoth Screen, and ITV Dark Trouble with Jessica. And then she's repped by a bunch of fun people. Anyways, I think that this sounds great. I like the Bene Gesserit in the Dune series. I read that book first in high school, and I really connected with it, especially Paul Atreides. I really connected it. And then growing up now, after rereading it before the movie came out, I really connected with Leto. I think that just because Duke Leto, I think that I connected with him more because he was a father. And when I first read it, I was a teenager like Paul Atreides. And then as a father, I connect with Leto much more because he's a father, and I get what he's trying to do in the book and everything. But I think that these two actresses, I was afraid this wasn't going to go forward. Excuse me. I was afraid this wasn't going to go forward. But now that they've cast these, especially Emily Watson, now that they've cast these actresses, this is definitely, not getting sidelined, which is great. It's always great. And I will be watching it. I'm curious. Let me pull out some concept art. So this is the mother from the Dune movie. And she looks great here. I think this is a great concept art. And I think the costume in the movie was actually also really, really good. And I'm curious to see if this is the kind of concept art that they pull out, the costuming, or if it's just different, because everybody wants their own their take on it. And we'll see where they go from here, But I am quite excited about it. So that is my second story of the week. So for my third and final story of the week, you guys. So it's reportedly lost. DC had reportedly lost its Kevin Feige-Esque candidate due to Batgirl's cancellation. So I did a couple of videos about this, but if you remember, they were looking at Dan Lin to oversee all of the DC films at Warner Brothers, but he decided to be like, no, thanks, I'm good. I don't really want it. So let's read this article, and this comes from a comic book reader.com, CBR. I think it's a reader. Who knows? Who cares? Anyways, and it says a new report reveals film producer Dan Lin took his name out of the mix for running DC films after expressing concern over Batgirl's cancellation. Why is everybody all of a sudden concerned about Batgirl? Who gives a rip? Batgirl didn't sound great anyways. Let's be honest. So it says DC, although I do want to see the new Batgirl movie, or that Batgirl movie, just because I want to see how bad it is. I have no qualms about being I want to see this car crash and I want to see it in person. You know what I'm saying? So it says DC Films reportedly lost its Kevin Feige-esque candidate Dan Lin in direct response to the cancellation of Batgirl. He sounds like a weak individual. Anyways. So it says, in an exclusive by Humberto Gonzalez in The Wrap, an insider at Warner Brothers Discovery revealed that producer Dan Lin took his name out of the mix of potential leaders for the DC film brand following the studio's shelving of the Leslie Grace starring Batgirl movie for HBO Max. Lin was reportedly troubled by the studio's decision to not release the completed DC Extended Universe film for a tax write-off related to other abandoned projects following Warner Brothers' merger with Discovery. Now, I just want to say real quick, I was on a live stream with a former executive producer, Paul Chano, I don't know how to say his last name. Anyways, but he was saying that this movie cannot get released whatsoever because then they won't get that 90 million that they put into it. But I did ask him, I'll leave a link to that in the iCard section, but I did ask him, what if somebody leaked it online and then people just pirated it and stuff? They sailed the seven seas. And he was like, if as long as they don't get any monetary gain from it, as long as they don't make any money off of it, then they'll still get that tax write-off. And I'm all like, oh, look at that. I'm like, well, then they should just get it and release it now. You know what I'm saying? Get it out there, because I want to see how bad it is. I really do. I want to review it so bad. So anyways, the newly minted conglomerate's CFO, Gunnar Windefels. Gosh, man, people these days always have crazy names. I can't pronounce them all. And people get so mad when you pronounce them wrong. Anyways, recently defended the studio's decision by stating that the news was blown out of proportion a little bit, while also reinforcing the studio's plans to spend a lot more money on future content. I don't think it was a bad decision, but what are you going to do? Lin had previously worked for Warner Brothers as the producer of the Lego Movie and the Lego Movie 2, the second part, and well as the DC-themed spin-off The Lego Batman Movie. Additionally, he served as a co-producer for the Warner Brothers Sherlock Holmes and It franchise. His name was brought up as the potential head for DC Films in August, and he would have replaced the current president, Walter Hamada, had he accepted the position. However, in September, Lin dropped out of negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery to commit to his own production company, Rideback, and his new nonprofit Rideback Rise. There was some stuff. Go watch my other video where I kind of explain it to you what was really going down. But something tells me there was a lot more going down than just he didn't want to leave his company. Anyways, since the completion of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger, CEO David Zaslav has been on the search to fill the DC Films leadership with someone to serve as creative and strategic czar, similar to what Marvel has in Kevin Feige. Additionally, he wants someone who had the type of business background needed to keep all of the different factions at DC working more harmoniously. Another name rumored for the job was the Arrowverse boss, Greg Berlanti. I would have to say right now, and I think I said it then, Greg Berlanti is a horrible choice. I mean, come on. Like, it would be the worst choice ever. Anyways. Him and J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams sucks. Anyways, however, the creative mind behind DC's television output has not been officially approached by the studio and has not expressed interest in the position. All right, we have this. Just one more paragraph, guys. Stick with me, and then I'll give you some more of my insight. As the DCEU struggles to find a clear direction in the wake of Batgirl's cancellation, and Warner Brothers Discovery continues searching for a new president for the DC brand, several completed DC films are seeing changes in post-production and release dates. For example, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom has been moved from March 17th to 2023 to December 25th, 2023. And I heard that movie is crazy woke. And I know you don't like the word woke, but that's what somebody said to me about it. But I heard it was crazy woke, and that's what they're trying to change. They're trying to change that so it's not so much. And Shazam! Fury of the Gods has been pushed back 3 months to December 21st, 2022 to March 17th, 2023. Moreover, Ezra Miller's The Flash, which they just started reshoots on that. From what I understand, not heavy reshoots, just some light reshoots. Has undergone reshoots in the wake of the Troubled Stars public incidences and still on track to arrive in theaters on June 23rd, 2023. Nevertheless, DCEU will make a feature-length return with the Dwayne Johnson starring Black Adam, which hits theaters October 21st, which I already have tickets for. And I don't know if it's going to be like a super huge hit, but I'm excited for it. Now, I just want to say real quick. So Dan Lin sounds like a weak individual, because if he's using the excuse of, well, they canceled Batgirl, so I don't want to work for them. I mean, like, come on, dude, get over yourself. I think that that's not a decent reason to just like not be the head of a department in the studio. But you know, what are you gonna do? Hey, if Warner Brothers wants to give it to me, listen, I am not saying I'm like a super huge genius, but I am a comic book fan, kind of like Kevin Feige. And, you know, I have some schooling, you know, so you can give the job to me. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm way cheap. I'm way cheaper than Dan Lin. I'll tell you that right now. But I think that this probably was for the best. It sounds like Dan Lin didn't have his heart into it if he's worried about that Batgirl movie. But I do think that I really need them to pick somebody, because that I do agree that they do need a Kevin Feige-esque person to run DC. And I want DC to succeed, because I love those. I love DC comics. I love the characters. I love the storylines. I like DC way more than I like Marvel. I'm not saying Marvel's bad at all, but I mean, I just love DC. I really, really do. I mean, I still buy DC. I don't buy any Marvel comic books, but I still do buy some DC comic books today. It just depends on who's writing and stuff. But yeah, all right, you guys. So that was my final story this week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about this first look at Brother Blood and Jinx? I know Jinx wasn't mentioned in this article, but I did bring her up into it because I liked the concept art. But how do you feel about this first look? I think it looks solid. I think that I personally enjoy the show. If you've been watching my coverage of it, I personally enjoy the show. But I think that this, this costume looks really, really great, and I'm quite excited to see what they do in season 4. That's my thoughts on that. Tell me also, what do you guys think about Dune Sisterhood casting Emily Watson and Shirley Henderson? Do you think these were good choices, bad choices, okay choices? Do you not have an opinion on the matter? And then, are you gonna watch Dune Sisterhood on HBO Max or whatever they name it in the future? I heard they're gonna name it something different. But are you going to watch it? And did you like Dune? I personally liked Dune. Yeah. And then finally, How do you feel about Dan Lin turning down this position of being the CEO or the head of the DC film or DC in general over at Warner Brothers, and he turned it down because of Batgirl's cancellation? Are you like me and you think this was a weak move, or do you think it was a smart move on his part because, DC is a little bit of a mess right now? Tell me what you guys think about all this. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Week in Review. You guys have a good week. Bye.
Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.